Hi. So, what are you working on?
So I'm Chris Freeland. I'm from the Biodiversity Heritage Library, and we're working to scan through partnerships with the world's leading natural history libraries the public domain materials of science. So the history of life, basically, the natural world, public domain materials covering from the 1400s all the way up until 1923, and where we can get permissions from rights holders, then we'll scan contemporary materials as well.
What's the biggest challenge?
The biggest challenge is in communication and collaboration. It's not the technologies, it's really the social issues around digitizing a mass of materials and putting them online and making them open access and freely available. There's a lot of support within the community for making this happen, and our users are thrilled, but it really does take a lot of people time in pulling off a project that has digitized now 90,000 books and made them available for free.
And who does the digitizing?
We work with the Internet Archive, and we also do boutique scanning in libraries. So Internet Archive does our mass scanning, and I think we've done more than 50,000 or 60,000 volumes through mass scanning operations, and then smaller numbers through in-library boutique scanning at higher resolutions and with more care. These are kind of the materials, special collections and rare materials that won't circulate outside the library.
So when you say the main problem is not technology but the social, how does that manifest itself? I mean, clearly there's a lot of time that people have to put in. But
there's a lot of negotiation between partners about one, finding out, is this thing actually in the public domain? This is there's a lot of research that goes on into determining if we have the rights and the ability to scan a piece of content that is from Germany, from a foreign country outside, or from a country outside of the United States. And so that communication that happens within libraries and between partnership, between the partners in the library of, can we scan this thing, and can we scan this thing in its entirety? If we're talking about a journal run, for scientific literature, you can have the Curtis Botanical Magazine has been in continuous publication since the late 1700s. So no one natural history library, very few natural history libraries have a complete run, and so it takes communication and collaboration to fill in gaps of those digitized materials.
So up until 1923, at least you don't have a license problem for those.
That's right. That's right. But there is the object, do we hold the object in our collection, even though something is in the public domain? Do we actually have it to scan? Is it available on the shelf? That's also part of the people issue is finding the books, finding the materials that are in our libraries, and are they actually sitting on a scholar's shelf in their office and not on the shelf in the library stacks?
So throughout this brief conversation, the question of rights as an issue, what you spend your time on as a limitation, it comes up multiple times in just a few minutes. Do you find that annoying?
Yes, it's very difficult, as a matter of fact.
Because you're doing this wonderful project that everybody on the planet would look at and say, of course we should be doing this, making available scientific research.
Yeah, it seems like such a no-brainer, and we find often from our users that come and are looking for a book that was printed in 1925, and they can't get the volume that was in 1925. They can get the volume from 1923, and that's incredibly frustrating.
Because the copyright law.
Because the copyright law. Exactly, and so then that becomes an issue for the developing communities, the developing countries that we serve. It's not only, this is not just a U.S.-European project, but we have partnerships in Africa and all over the world now, and those users can't get to our content, and so that's based on U.S. law. We decided that we looked across China and Australia, where some of our other partners are, and actually China has one of the more clearly written copyright statements for digitizing scientific publications, which is somewhat surprising. And so we're looking at ways that we can put more scanning effort into the places that have less restrictive copyright, because it's incredibly frustrating for our users who just want to get at the content, and they want to do so in a responsible way, but they still need the content for their work.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.